Zaldrizes buzdari skosdao.
The filming process for House of the Dragon Season 2 is going to be wrapping up really shortly, but in this video I want to talk about some of the latest round of leaks. One of them, in particular, is a casting that I was sent about 2 months ago, maybe 1 month ago now, where this person mentioned that a specific actor known as Tom Taylor had recently started following Harry Collette, and Harry Collette had started following him, and this, in that leaker's eyes, confirmed that he was going to be cast as CREGAN STARK. In this video, I want to address some of those rumors as they're beginning to make their rounds just as of this morning, so please, before I jump into that, do me a massive favor. If you enjoy my content and you're a fan of my videos here on YouTube, please subscribe. That's the best thing you could ever do for my channel or any YouTuber that you're a fan of, is subscribe to their channel and then slap a like on this video. Like goal is going to be 420. Get it? Alonat and Zeldrizas buzdari iskos dawor. Okay, so this dude Tom Taylor, if this information is legitimate, remember, take all of this stuff with a grain of salt. Nothing is confirmed until, for castings, HBO officially confirms it, or for scenes or leaked rumors or anything, nothing is confirmed till it airs on our screen. So take all this with a grain of salt, right? But this dude, Tom Taylor, this is really interesting. He actually has played a Stark, so to speak, before, right? Now, I'm not talking about him playing younger Uhtred in the first episode of The Last Kingdom. I'm not sure if he comes back to play in flashbacks, but he plays young Uhtred, who literally is CREGAN, right? He's forced to go out on his own with this little wolf pelt and go and try to make a kingdom for himself. That's not exactly what happens at CREGAN, but that's what happens to Uhtred. So what I mean when I say he played a Stark is that he literally played the younger version of Ned Stark in this movie called Martin Odom. So he plays the younger version of Shaun Bean. Starks in the books have long faces and pale blue, stark blue eyes, right? A lot of other Northerners have the, the pale blue eyes, gray eyes, right? For instance, Roose Bolton and his son Ramsay have that. But that's besides the point. Dude's got the long face, and he literally has played a Stark. A lot of people I seen online when rumors first started swirling a couple of months ago when I was first sent the rumor, people were saying there's no way this dude's going to be playing CREGAN because he's a blonde. Look at him. He's a blonde. Starks have brown hair. Starks are known specifically to all have darker hair, right? Like on the TV show, they gave some of them black hair, some of them brown hair, light brown, but for the most part, all Starks look like they have very similar features. But look at him in Uhtred, right? When he played Uhtred, he literally looks like how CREGAN probably looked as a kid with the wolf pelt and the brown hair and the being out in the wilderness, right? I think this is a pretty good casting choice. You gotta realize the casting directors have literally never let us down for anything for House of the Dragon so far. They were somehow able to find younger versions of characters for people who are not related, right? Like, everybody can agree that Emily Carey looks astonishingly similar to Olivia Cook, right? The same with Emma Darcy and how they appear really closely in appearance to the younger versions of themselves, right? Millie Alcock. What I'm getting at is the casting directors kind of know what they're doing here. This is really exciting news, and I hope this dude actually does play CREGAN in House of the Dragon Season 2. Let me know what you all think about the legitimacy of the rumors and also the casting choice, appearance-wise. Do you think this dude can pull off CREGAN STARK? I certainly do. Okay, so the next little bit of information that I want to talk about is the fact that the show has been filming since April, March, and it is now nearing the end of the year. We've got roughly 2 months left once October hits, so they for sure will be wrapping up filming. Like, rumors obviously are swirling that they're going to be ending filming when September ends, right? But we know for a fact that just the length of time that they've been filming 8 episodes, it's about time to wrap it up. Not just the on-location stuff, but also what's happening at the studio. Whatever they're filming at Leavesden, right, they probably have got a good majority of it, enough of it to start the post-production and officially announce that filming is wrapped. Like, they announced when pre-production begins, so I'm pretty sure they're going to announce officially when it wraps. So that's why I was saying, even though rumors are out that it's going to end in September, we don't know for sure, right? One thing that is really interesting is that usually when they finish filming and start the post-production, we get some sort of a teaser trailer. Remember the first teaser trailer that we got for House of the Dragon Season 1 featuring characters, right? That was in October of 2021. So just imagine, obviously the show's been out for an entire season. It did amazing. We've got no new footage or anything like that for a whole year. Just imagine once they officially wrap and start the post-production, start finalizing a lot of the CGI and the edits and start really putting together the season and what it's going to look like, it'll be so easy for them to cut a trailer, right? So that's what I'm really excited about. Like, obviously, casting news is exciting, but just getting to see our favorite characters again on screen, right? We know they're going to focus on Daemon, Rhaenyra, and then Alicent, Aegon. We'll probably get a few glimpses of Aegon in the Battle of Rook's Rest with Aemon, right? It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait to watch. I think, if I had to guess, right, I think a teaser trailer, not a tracer, not a full-on trailer. That probably won't be out till like next year in the spring, super early spring, maybe late winter, right? But a teaser trailer should be out by November. And then once the show comes out, right, 8 weeks go by, we get to start this whole process all over again. But this feels like a good point. We're making really good time in this video. I didn't want it to be too long, but I do want to mention real quick two characters that I'm most excited to see that either their plotline hasn't come up yet and won't be happening in season 2, it'll be a season 3 thing, or they just haven't been announced yet to be cast, right? The two of those characters are the Shepherd, right, and Dalton Greyjoy. Now, the Shepherd is really interesting because I thought for sure he would be a part of season 1. Right, you can show him early on. I thought it would be genius to make him part of the dragon keeping order. You know, the tamers who once Rhaenyra dismounts off of her dragon Syrax. Remember the shepherds that come up with their staffs and they're training a new guy, right? They're bald. It's interesting. Maybe they aren't bald. Maybe they choose to shave their hair because dragons, maybe one of them got burned or something and they wanted to keep that as a tradition. I don't know. The Burn Men do something similar to that, right, in the mountain clans in the Vale. But besides the point, I thought it would be interesting to show the Shepherd early on, and then after the time jump, you see him settle in to being a dragon tamer. Ultimately, he gets spurned by the Targaryens when the war breaks out. He gets his arm bitten off, and this is when he comes back during, I would say, midway through Season 3 when Rhaenyra is losing King's Landing and starts preaching for 3 days and 3 nights in the streets of King's Landing to get the citizens to go and track the Dragon Pit. Now, they set up the Dragon Pit scene differently. They're having Rhaenys break up the floor, so clearly she's going to be the one that the citizens of King's Landing are the most pissed off at, and I feel like it was kind of a mistake to not include the Shepherd early on, or if he was included, maybe not feature him more prominently in certain scenes. But the other character that I mentioned was Dalton Greyjoy. Now, Dalton Greyjoy is a bit of a badass, right? So initially, the entire fleet of the King in Power, right? So King Viserys, his entire fleet is via, get this, the Velaryons, right? So the royal fleet for King's Landing, the Velaryons are on Rhaenyra's side. So the Greens need naval power, right? So what they do is they send ravens to the Lord of the Iron Islands at the time, Dalton Greyjoy, and they say, hey, dude, we will pay you really good money if you sail your fleet all the way around Westeros and come and help us protect King's Landing. We're the Greens. We're in power. This is King Aegon requesting you to do this. So what Dalton does is, instead of responding, he waits. He waits to hear from Rhaenyra. Now, Rhaenyra, instead of asking him to sail his fleet all the way around Westeros and then help, right? Rhaenyra says, just attack as many Greens as you can. Dalton is like, well, this is clearly the better plan. I don't have to sail my entire fleet around Westeros. I can just literally reave, right, the Greens' loyal bannermen. I can reave and pillage their ships and villages. So this is what Dalton Greyjoy does. As a bit more backstory, because this dude is really interesting, he actually got the name of the Red Kraken down in the Stepstones, right? So before the initial war breaks out, Dalton Greyjoy is fighting in the Stepstones as what's known as a sail, which is basically like a sellsword, right? Someone who sells their sword, right? But in the ocean, he ends up killing this corsair, claims this Valyrian steel sword Nightfall, which will probably be one of the 4 Valyrian steel swords that was mentioned we're going to see in this series that has never been seen in the main Game of Thrones series, right? So Nightfall. After Dalton claims Nightfall, he ends up watching his uncle die, right? So after this, Dalton plunges himself into battle and avenges his uncle. And then afterwards, he emerges from the battle covered in blood and suffering from like half a dozen wounds. So this is where he gets the name the Red Kraken. Okay, so just to reiterate, leak-wise, this dude, Tom Taylor, is supposed to be playing the character CREGAN Stark. And like I mentioned earlier, I'd be extremely disappointed if he's not cast as CREGAN, because we'll just look at him next to Ned Stark. He played a younger version of Shaun Bean in a movie, right? He's basically played a Northman in the Last Kingdom show as young Uhtred. So this is really, really exciting if this dude is cast in House of the Dragon as CREGAN Stark. Also, filming is going to be wrapping up soon. That ultimately means a trailer. I feel like a teaser trailer will be out by November. You all let me know what you think about all this, including the lore drop that I did about my two favorite characters, the Shepherd and Dalton Greyjoy. Like, favorite characters in the sense of people who haven't been announced yet and characters whose plot lines haven't been developed yet. All right? Let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section, please. A super special shout out to every single executive producer of this video. They are members of my Dragonite tier over on patreon.com. Speaking of which, if you want to support me a little bit extra, consider checking out my Patreon. I do monthly panels with every single member of my Patreon over there. We discuss the Song of Ice and Fire for hours and hours. I also drop weekly content. Also, there's videos that are exclusive to Patreon only that will never see the light of day of YouTube, right? So you can join for just $5. Consider checking that out. But those executive producers are the Northwestern member, Breanne Johnson, Tyler Schnabel, Destiny Mixed Queen Phillips 420, and Pebbles 83. Thank you to every single person for watching this video. Along not until Trizos Postari Ixos Daur.